The Roman soldiers took him into the armory, and they called out the entire contingent. They stripped him, and they put a scarlet robe on him, and made a crown from long thorns and put it on his head. And they placed a stick in his right hand as a scepter, and they knelt before him in mockery. "Hail, King of the Jews!" they yelled, and they spat on him and grabbed the stick and beat him on the head with it. After the mockery, they took off the robe and put his own garment on him again, and took him out to crucify him. As they were on the way to the execution grounds, they came across a man from Cyrene in Africa. Simon was his name, and forced him to carry Jesus' cross. Then they went out to an area known as Golgotha, that is, Skull Hill, where the soldiers gave him drugged wine to drink. But when he had tasted it, he refused. After the crucifixion, the soldiers threw dice to divide up his clothes among themselves. And then they sat around and watched him as he hung there, and they put a sign above his head: "This is Jesus, King of the Jews." 2 robbers were also crucified there that morning, one on either side of him. And the people passing by hurled abuse, shaking their heads at him and saying, "So, you can destroy the temple and build it again in 3 days, can you? Well then, come on down from the cross if you are the Son of God." And the chief priests and the Jewish leaders also mocked him. "He saved others," they scoffed, "but he can't save himself. So you're the King of Israel, are you? Come down from the cross and we'll believe you. He trusted God. Let God show his approval by delivering him. Didn't he say that I am God's son?" And the robbers also threw the same in his teeth. That afternoon the whole earth was covered with darkness for 3 hours, from noon until 3 o'clock. About 3 o'clock Jesus shouted, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Some of the bystanders misunderstood and thought he was calling for Elijah, and one of them ran and filled a sponge with sour wine and put it on a stick and held it up to him to drink. But the rest said, "Leave him alone. Let's see whether Elijah will come and save him." And then Jesus shouted out again. He dismissed his spirit and died. And look, the curtain secluding the holiest place in the temple was split apart from top to bottom, and the earth shook and rocks broke, and tombs opened, and many godly men and women who had died came back to life again. After Jesus' resurrection, they left the cemetery and went into Jerusalem and appeared to many there. The soldiers at the crucifixion and their sergeant were terribly frightened by the earthquake and all that had happened, and they exclaimed, "Surely this was God's Son." And many women who had come down from Galilee with Jesus to care for him were watching from a distance. Among them were Mary Magdalene, and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of James and John, the sons of Zebedee. When evening came, a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, one of Jesus' followers, went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. And Pilate issued an order to release it to him. Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and placed it in his own new rock-hewn tomb, and rolled a great stone across the entrance as he left. Both Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting nearby, watching. The next day, At the close of the first day of the Passover ceremonies, the chief priests and Pharisees went to Pilate and told him, "Sir, that liar once said, 'After 3 days I will come back to life again.' So we request an order from you, sealing the tomb until the 3rd day, to prevent his disciples from coming and stealing his body and then telling everyone he came back to life. If that happens, we'll be worse off than we were at first." "Use your own temple police," Pilate told them. "They can guard it safely enough." So they sealed the stone and posted guards to protect it from intrusion.